Did American mercenaries help Ukraine breach Russia's border? Or was it the result of the blunder of one Russian general that left the Russian borders vulnerable to the Ukrainian assault? It has been over 2 weeks since Ukrainian troops launched a surprise cross-border assault in Russia's Kursk region. But shocking new details continue to emerge that the assault has been witnessed so far. Number one, destroy 3 key bridges in Russia. 2, claim control over 1,200 square kilometers of Russian territory. And 3, turn the tables on Russia by dropping a guided glide bomb on Russian territory for the first time. New details that could potentially turn the tide of the war in Ukraine. You see, 2 days ago, Russia reportedly summoned the U.S. charge d'affaires in Moscow. Stephanie Holmes, the American diplomat, was issued a demarche over the alleged involvement of an American private military company in Ukraine's incursion into Kursk. This so-called private military company has been identified as the Forward Observation Group. On Instagram, they had previously posted a photo of its members dressed in military gear and holding weapons, claiming that they are taking part in Ukraine's attack on the Russian border region. In fact, the soldiers in the picture are seen wearing blue armbands, which are reportedly worn by Ukrainian troops on the battlefield. According to a press release published on the Russian Foreign Ministry's website on Tuesday, this is evidence that contradicts claims made by US President Joe Biden that the US was not involved in the attacks. Russia says that this clearly shows US role as a direct participant in the conflict. As mentioned earlier, Ukraine's offensive in Kursk, which is its largest cross-border incursion into internationally recognized Russian territory, started earlier this month. However, the Russian Defense Ministry has since claimed that the Ukrainian advance has been halted. The Russian military also estimates Kiev's losses at more than 4,100 troops. For now, heavy fighting is underway in Kursk. After evacuating the residents and digging trenches, the Russian authorities started installing concrete shelters to help protect civilians. Local news channels showed concrete shelters being placed in central areas of Kursk. Russian President Vladimir Putin is also reviewing the situation in the border regions. During the briefing, he accused Ukraine of trying to strike the Kursk nuclear power plant.
The enemy tried to strike at the nuclear power station last night. The International Atomic Energy Agency has been informed. They promised to come themselves to send specialists to assess the situation. I hope that in the end, this will be done on their part.
You see, Ukraine has closely guarded its goals in Kursk, but has said that it has carved out a buffer zone from an area that Russia has used to pound targets in Ukraine. By launching the attack on Kursk, Ukraine has been able to turn the war on its head in a way. As a result, the Russian defense minister has established 3 troop groups in the border regions as Ukraine continues its offensive there. The 3 troop groups are named after the regions of Belgorod, Bryansk, and Kursk, and they will be responsible for defending the Russian residents as well as the territory against attacks by drones and other means. Russia has also set up a special working team to collect, analyze, and forward the information from various regions and to supervise their resolution. But could the Russian generals have avoided this embarrassment? Did the blunder of a single man cost the Kremlin major embarrassment in Kursk? Here's why we asked that question. Earlier this year, Russia's new military appointee overseeing security in the Kursk province had dismantled a council that was tasked with protecting the vulnerable border region. We're talking about Colonel General Alexander Lepin. Dissolving the council, Lepin had said that the military alone had the power and the resources to protect Russia's border. And now analysts are saying that the decision of Lepin left a big hole in Russia's border defenses. They say that this is why Ukrainian troops who crossed the border found Russian troops in a state of disarray. Of course, it's not like Lepin alone opened the gates to the first foreign invasion of Russian territory since World War II, but his misstep is being blamed for the situation. that has resulted in Russian troops fighting hard to oust the Ukrainian forces from their territory. All things considered, Ukraine's unprecedented assault into Russia is potentially forcing a rethink of how this war is being fought. Experts say that Ukraine's advance will push the Russian military leaders to think about investing into protecting the country's border. For so long, they have focused only on putting troops into Ukraine, and they have huge advantages, by the way. The Russians never had to deal with protecting the borders or the infrastructure, but the situation now is rapidly changing. And how it will end is far from clear. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.